We start with breaking news here in Israel. A helicopter has crashed off the coast of Haifa in the north of the country. Search and rescue teams from the Israel Defense Forces Unit 669 were sent to the scene to locate the crew a short while ago. The military confirming the chopper went down near the port city earlier on Monday evening local time. 3 crew members were on board at the time. It's believed one person has been taken to the Rambam hospital. 2 are still missing. So for more on this breaking news story, our defense correspondent Jonathan Regev joins us live. So Jonathan, details of this chopper crash emerging in just the past hour or so. What details can you confirm for us at this hour?
So Benita, we're speaking about an incident happening roughly an hour and a half ago, 9:30 p.m. local time. A helicopter crashes into the sea just off the shores of the port city of Haifa in northern Israel. The helicopter was flying rather low over the southern shore of the city of Haifa, fell into the water for a reason that is unknown at this moment. It is not clear if we're speaking of a technical issue or a human error. What we do know is that the helicopter, which was carrying 3 people, fell into the sea at this time. And again, we're speaking about 90 minutes or so after the incident. We do know that one person has been rescued and taken to the Rambam hospital in Haifa, a hospital which is right on the shore of Haifa. And at the moment, search is ongoing for the other 2 crew members. Those are the details now. Where exactly are those 2? Unclear at the moment. We are speaking of, again, one person who has been rescued, taken to the Rambam hospital in Haifa. He's conscious, he's speaking, he's in a light to moderate condition. The other 2, the search for the other 2 is now ongoing.
And Jonathan, right now we're looking on our screens at footage. We can see obviously that it is dark. It is nighttime here in Israel at the moment. Very difficult for search and rescue teams to try and find these 2 missing people. Give us an idea of the kind of depths that are going to be taken right now to try and locate these 2 missing people.
We can see the images on television. A lot of search and rescue teams at the site, and again, the fact that it's nighttime, very dark, clearly not helping at all these searches. And of course, the army will go into great extent to try and find those 2 people. Where are they in the sea? And let's remember, once you fall into the sea, there's currents, and basically a lot can happen. Currents, waves. The approximate location of the fall is known. The forces also know where exactly they were able to find that one person, but now there's a constant search for the other 2. A lot of forces, search and rescue teams in the area, because obviously there's constant search for these other 2 people missing at the moment.
Defense correspondent Jonathan Regev, stay with us. We've got more to discuss right now. I want to bring in Mark Schulman, an aviation expert. And Mark, search and rescue teams, as we are discussing, from the Israel Defense Forces Unit 669 are currently on the scene, locating the crew, trying to find those 2 missing people off the Haifa coast. As an aviation expert, Mark, give us an idea of what might have caused this helicopter to crash. Technical failure or human error? It's too early to know. Your thoughts from what you're hearing so far?
Well, like I said, it's very hard to know at this point. Keep in mind that all of Israel's helicopters are very old. And so that's one of the issues. There have been issues with the helicopters over the last 5 or 10 years where at various points they've had to be grounded. Israel's replacing parts of its helicopter fleet. This was clearly not a 2-man attack helicopter, since we're talking about 3 people. The censorship is not allowing the word of exactly which helicopter it was. But the fact of the matter is that the fact that the fleet is old certainly has to be looked upon as one of the possibilities. They were flying off the coast. I mean, by the sea, it's easier to make mistakes. When you're by the sea, it's harder to see the height of the ocean versus the height of land, let's say, during the daytime. It's nighttime. Difficult situation, but I assume these were experienced pilots. So obviously it's possible that it was human error. if I had a bet right now without knowing, the total details, I would say it's more likely a technical problem. Of course, some technical problems you can manage with, great skill to get out of. In this case, obviously, they were not able to get out of it if that was the case. So if I had a bet, I would say it's technical. Helicopters are very complicated crafts, unlike an airplane, which if your engines go off on an airplane, you have time, it glides, you have time to restart them. Helicopter, if your rotors stop turning or anything else happens, there's almost no time to do something about it. And certainly if you're flying low over the ocean, there's very little you can do in those circumstances.
Well, obviously, we will have to wait for details to emerge about exactly what caused this crash. What we do know, though, Mark, is that 2 people are missing right now. We've been talking about rescue teams conducting the search at night. The conditions aren't easy. Give us an idea of what it's going to take to try and locate these 2 missing people right now.
Okay, so first, again, I hate to say this, but we're probably at this stage looking for bodies. It's very unlikely you're going to find, this is 2 hours after the case, that these Air Force pilots, while they've been trained to survive, it's hard to see how they would be able to survive in the sea this long. Assuming they were uninjured and everything else, no doubt they were possibly or most likely injured. The only thing going for the search, obviously, it's taking place right off the coast of Haifa, close to the coast. It's located right up opposite the naval bases that are there, so that people are available immediately. All the trained Israeli Navy commandos are close by, so I'm sure there are a lot of people who can concentrate at this point on the search. But I fear that we're now at this point looking for bodies. I hope I'm wrong, but it's really unlikely 2 hours later and in sea conditions that you're going to be looking to save anybody at this point.
Aviation expert Mark Schulman, thank you so much for your insight. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Right now, I want to go back to our defense correspondent, Jonathan Regev. Any updates from any official word or authorities about what is happening right now? Any updates you can give us at this hour?
No official comments yet. The Army is confirming that a helicopter went down, that a helicopter was carrying 3 people. That's as much as the Army says. We know from the Rambam hospital, which we said is very close, right on the beach in Haifa, that one person was brought in light to moderate condition, conscious, speaking, and as Mark mentioned, right next to the Rambam hospital stands the Israel Navy base with all of the forces which immediately went into the sea in order to try and locate those other 2 people. As far as we understand now, about 2 hours after the incident, so far they have not been found. This is the latest information we're hearing.
The latest information coming through right now to our newsroom. We're hearing that person injured in the Rambam hospital is in a moderate condition. Jonathan, also confirmation that this chopper was a military helicopter. No doubt Naftali Bennett, Prime Minister, and Defense Minister Benny Gantz are being kept in the loop. What kind of reaction are we likely to hear from the leadership now?
First, from the leadership, all of the efforts will be done in order to locate those 2 people. One thing that usually happens in these cases, the commander of the Air Force will usually stop all training or all flights in probably this specific kind of a helicopter, and maybe the entire fleet of the Israeli Air Force helicopters, to understand exactly what went wrong and try to make sure that such events will not happen again. This is usually the first thing that the commander of the Air Force will come. As far as the leadership, Prime Minister, Defense Minister, they will allocate all the means necessary in order first to try and find those 2 people missing, and then find out exactly what went wrong.
And confirmation right now that 2 soldiers are actually trapped in the helicopter as we speak. Defense correspondent Jonathan Regev, thank you so much for your update. If you're just joining us, it's breaking news here in Israel. A helicopter has crashed off the coast of Haifa in the north of the country. Search and rescue teams are trying to rescue 2 soldiers trapped inside the military chopper. One person has been taken to the Rambam hospital. His condition at this moment is moderate.